Another day, another dollar, Wolf.
Another day, another dollar.
And welcome everybody back to the Built Different Show. Wolfie's drinking coffee. I'm feeling good. The baseball season, as this episode releases, is just beginning, and we are so happy to be covering it all season long. I got Wolfie here. Obviously, I'm the host, Thomas Saxby, and we are ready to give it to you. Pause. 162 games this year, plus the playoffs. This is our fourth season that we are covering, because if you guys remember when we started last time, it was towards the end of baseball season, I believe 2022. Jeez, we've been doing this for 4 seasons now.
Been a while.
But we're here, and this is going to be the season. So what is up, Wolf? How you doing? Let us know.
Doing good, man. Opening day is tomorrow for those that come out probably today. I'm excited. The roster's getting set. No more injuries, thankfully, until tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the timeline or the storylines play. I'm excited to see the new players on their new teams. Obviously, excited for Soto. Man, this offseason went by fast.
An unreal feeling, man.
It really is. It really is. And like I said, it kind of made the offseason go by fast, though. I kind of felt like it was like I was so excited. Sometimes it kind of feels like a drag, especially if your team's not doing anything. It's just kind of like, let's get going. But this was like an excitement for opening day. And plus, let's be honest, the Mets don't play much in October throughout their history. So the fact that we had an extra month of baseball shortened the offseason for us, so went by quick, and tomorrow's already the day in a snap of a finger. It was perfect.
Yeah, man, we're here. I'm so ready for baseball. It's going to be a lit season. You know, we got so many storylines going into it. You know, we got Aaron Judge and the Yankees, Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. You know, will the Braves get back and compete? What are the Mets going to do with Juan Soto? Are the Phillies going to finally do, you know, what they need to do? The whole NL Central's a mess. The AL Central's a mess. You know, the Rangers are back. Are the Astros still going to be good? We got so many storylines to follow this year. It's going to be fun. Ellie De La Cruz, you know, Acuna's back. Tatis, all these exciting players. I think baseball's in a really good spot. And I think we're going to get delivered another good season, because in my eyes, last season, the one that we watched, is one of my favorite seasons, you know, as a collective that I have ever watched. So I'm really happy with the place that baseball is in. And I'm really happy that we get to provide the coverage on baseball this season. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, leave some feedback, share, do what you got to do. Get on the train, because not only do we cover baseball, we cover basketball, football, video games, wrestling. We cover, you know, life. We get high and just say stupid shit. So make sure you guys subscribe, because we got a lot more coming. This podcast is sponsored by Adobe products. Listen, being a user of Adobe, they have a great video editing program with Adobe Premiere Pro. I feel like it's the only way to go when it comes to your video editing. When it comes to Adobe Photoshop, it's like the only way to go to edit your photos. Adobe Express, Adobe File Reader, Adobe anything. And listen, if you're cool enough like me, you'll get a hat like this, and you'll get to wear a hat like this on your podcast. So make sure you guys go out and get Adobe for all of your video editing and photo editing needs. Just go do it. Get a bucket hat. They reward their customers with bucket hats. How cool is that shit? So we're going to dig right in to some recent headlines. So the conclusion of spring training, right? We did get some storylines out of it. I just want to know, Wolfie, what is your take coming out of spring training? Anything that, you know, really caught your eye? Anything at all?
Some of the teams got kind of changed up a little bit with expectations. I don't mean to pick on them, but obviously the Yankees. I mean, going into the season, not only losing Soto and pivoting to other moves, I actually thought they made some pretty good moves, but with
Bellinger looks great in the spring.
Yeah, and Bellinger looks great. I honestly think Paul Goldschmidt's going to do well. I think Fried's just going to be Fried. He's fine if he stays healthy. But the problem with the Yankees is not only Stanton out, not only Cole out, now you have Heel out. Now the report today with the rosters being finalized is that Clark Schmidt is out too.
Yeah.
You have Will Warren stepping in. You have Stroman stepping in. It's kind of getting to the point now where what are they going to do? And
That
obvious,
Stroman thing is pretty awkward too, if you think about it. Because going into the spring, he's like, "I ain't going to the bullpen." Rah 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 rah. Now they have to
I
actually
know.
use him.
And if I'm not mistaken, too, the way his contract works is they're going to owe him more money if he hits 140 innings, which he definitely is going to do at this point. Because at first it's thinking, like, okay, well, if Heel comes back or if Clark Schmidt comes back, even if both of them come back, like, he's not going anywhere in the rotation. They'll actually probably move to a six-man rotation at that point, even if they ever
Yeah,
did get that many arms back,
gotta
which
keep your guys healthy.
I don't even think they will, but he's not going anywhere. Which is kind of funny because there was that talk about them trading maybe even him for Nolan Arenado. That's not happening anymore. But across the league, I actually have to admit the Dodgers have stayed relatively healthy on their pitching front. But there are some teams here and there, obviously my Mets, that have faced pitching issues already. With the Pirates, Jared Jones. Now, luckily, that's not going to be all year. But a lot of these teams where and I feel like more so than other years where spring training has been bringing so many injuries this year that it's not like, oh, this team's going to get off to such a strong start. It's almost like, let's
Right.
see what they're going to look like in June now rather than right out the gate. Which is like a weird
Yeah,
thing to think
man.
about. It's almost like an extended spring training. It's like we're like there's so many teams now in baseball where it's like I'm not saying they take off. They don't take off, but it's almost like a reevaluation back in June and July once they're quote unquote like all together again. It's just like kind of abnormal.
Yeah, man. I mean, spring training definitely made things awkward, for the Yankees. But it is what it is. I mean, I talked about it on the episode with Kem. Giancarlo Stanton coming in with some sore elbows and messed up thigh or whatever the hell he has going on. I think it's just ridiculous at this point as an athlete. Like, again, is he hibernating? Is he not sleeping at all? Like, there has to be something deeper with Giancarlo Stanton, because just come in with all these injuries is just absolutely insane.
I think he might
It's like,
retire.
I mean, honestly, if you're gonna come in with two sore elbows and then they're gonna blame it on a bat change, like, and that's the thing. Like, come on, bro. Changing your bat is gonna cause you to have sore elbows. I mean, I don't know.
He's
I
been
don't know the logistics
and
of
he's
it.
been sore for the last like obviously so many years.
6 years.
But even in the World Series, he claimed he was battling through injury. So it's kind of like, what were you doing the whole off season? If you and even if you did
Yeah.
try to fix it in the off season, you quote
And he
unquote, oh, it got
continues to look
handled.
like he's in the best shape of anybody ever.
Exactly. So is it getting to a point where it's like, will it ever get fixed? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I
anyway,
mean, has he hit 500 home runs yet? I don't think he has.
he was close to a couple milestones. I remember saying last year where if like he finishes out his career with the Yankees, at least averaging, he'll probably hit some certain. I can't remember
He's at
exactly anymore.
429. That's sad.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. So I think he has 3, 4 more years left with them, kind of averaging about 20, 30. That's when we
Yeah.
get there. But now, plus, I mean, at this point too, like, well, the one thing that's mind-boggling with that whole situation is that, and it sucks because I will admit, out of a lot of players out there, he always is really good about the criticism he gets. He's like always like, my bad, it's my fault, I'm fixing it. Like, he doesn't really take
Yeah.
shots at the fans. But it's getting to a point too where if like you're Brian Cashman, you got to be like, what are we gonna do like going forward? We can't keep doing this every single year.
It's
We're
crazy because, like, it's
and
kind of
and
like
he's such a bopper
PTSD.
though. When the late
Yeah.
season, so like, what do you do?
And it's kind of like PTSD because you remember, like, this is how the end of Alex Rodriguez's contract was, except obviously Giancarlo Stan is not giving Alex Rodriguez numbers, but this is kind of like exactly how it was with Alex Rodriguez towards the end of his deal. Everyone's like, this is a lot of money. It's clogging up things. He's not playing.
Yep.
What's going on. But my honestly biggest thing from the spring training was the Texas Rangers. Evan Carter did not make the major league team. So they decided, in the rotation, they went with Kumar Rocker, Jack Leiter. They have spots in the rotation itself. But Evan Carter did so bad on top of doing so bad last year that he's not going to start the year and made an MLB. I assume eventually he'll get there as the year goes along. Injuries happen, or some players just not good, or they make a trade or whatever. But man, Evan Carter, I still have so much high hopes for the guy. I love, all the young talent that they rolled out within the last couple of years. But I mean, I don't know if this was the right move for the Rangers. I mean, maybe like there's something going on in the clubhouse where he's way too in his head or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with sending down one of your top guys
I don't
early
either.
on in the season.
And it's funny because I'm looking at their depth chart right now, and like it really takes a hit if he's not there. It's funny too because he's projected the the fourth guy on every position. They have Garcia, obviously right field, Tavares center field, and Langford in left field. Like the only other guys on the bench are Duran and Smith, and even that's like shaky. So it's like
Yeah.
him being out right away. Like they got to be like they, unless they're trying to carry an early pitcher, like an extra pitcher right away, just for maybe the rotation or the bullpen, like for the early part of the year. But I don't know. Yeah, I know they have a couple guys obviously like hurt that they're trying to replace, like Gray, but I don't like the depth chart move they did there.
Yeah, it's absolutely interesting. But on another side, the Red Sox, like their young guys look pretty dang good, man.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, I know Roman Anthony and Marcel. I don't know if Marcello Meyer made the major league team, but I know Christian Campbell did. So they got a lot of young talent that are like they have been stashing this young talent these past few years, while the Yankees have just been shit in the bed year after year. And it's crazy because the Red Sox could lap the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Orioles in getting a World Series before them since the last time they won. I think they're well on their way. I honestly, I'll say this now. Um, I think even if they don't win this year, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing because they have all this talent on the way. Like I said, Campbell, Roman Anthony, and we all love Roman Anthony. He's starting to capture the hearts of everybody. He's going to be one of those big players in this league. They got Marcello Meyer, adding on to Duran, Devers, Sedan Rafaela. They have a lot of good hitters. And then obviously their pitching has always been very underrated the last couple of years. I don't think we need to list out those guys. How do you personally feel about the Red Sox? I've been meaning to ask you this.
So they're a weird team to me because personally,
Very weird.
I'm like I'm I'm high on them this year, but if you really like broke it down to me, I could be convinced that I'm just like on false pride with them. But
Oh
hear me
yeah,
out.
and that's how I feel. Like I'm in the
Yeah.
middle because like I don't believe in crochet at all
No,
whatsoever
I
as like
know,
a
me
move.
neither. Like I think we've actually brought this up. Like certain guys, if you
Yeah.
break, like I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about with blind faith. I don't think Trevor Story will ever be back to Trevor Story. Yet I drafted him in CBS at the end of the draft because there's always that part of me still that it's like, all right, well, if he is healthy, they have Devers now, they have Bregman
Yeah.
now, they have all these rookies with extra protection. Like he doesn't need to he just needs to be healthy. And if he, I'm not saying he's obviously going to be like an MVP or anything, but just have a good season. Like my point being with the Boston Red Sox is between certain hitters, guys like Walker Bueller, Bello, Crochet, like they have so many pieces where if you actually like almost took every guy's like average to best year and kind of just wrote down on a piece of paper and handed someone this Boston Red Sox team, they would look at that and be like, that's a pretty damn good team. But at the same time, you know the flaws of their injuries, you know the flaws of positioning, you know the flaws of their pitching staff. I mean, they've already have some injuries now with Hauk and Bello or Bayo, whatever, how you ever
And
pronounce
Cutter
it.
Crawford as well.
I actually think it's Cutter Crawford, the one I'm thinking. I'm not Hauk, so yeah, I think I mixed those up. But my point being is they already have two guys in the starting rotation that are hurt, and with Walker Bueller having injury history, it's like I'm not saying they need a perfect storm because if you look at their division, with the Yankees having injuries, with the Orioles not resigning certain guys like Santander and Burns, we don't know what their pitching is going to be. Like the Rays are always going to raid Toronto, whatever. Toronto, I don't know what Toronto's doing. But I feel like the Red Sox have not only the window open, but the pieces in place to where if everything fell right, not perfectly, but just fell towards the right way, they could easily be on the verge of being a high 80s, 90 win team. At the same time, though, they also have the potential for massive injuries to their pitching staff, these rookies not panning out, and maybe like a guy like Bregman not being a $40 million player to where they could just be right back to where they are last year, which I'm not mistaken. Didn't they finish exactly 500?
Yeah.
So like I could literally see that too. I could see them being anywhere from a 78 win team to an 88 win team. That's
Okay.
how big of a gap they
Fair.
are to me.
That's fair. predicting some standings. Let's get right into it, man.
Sounds good.
Do you want to start off with the AL East?
Now we doing like I didn't do necessarily like uh numbers, but I kind of have like a
No. I
estimate.
don't want to predict wins.
Okay,
That's too.
yeah, because
That's
I
too
didn't
much.
either. I only did the Mets in my head.
Let's give out who you think is
So-
going to be 1 through 5. I'll give out and let's argue.
This is really hard for me because every year I usually say the Braves, but there is just something in my mind that feels like the Braves have been hit with the injury bug the last couple of years that it might continue this year.
Yeah.
And I just still feel like the Phillies overall have such an extended lineup that, like, I hate to say it, Ronald Acuna, you've had multiple ACL injuries. So, with that being said, I do think Phillies are going to still win the division. I think the Mets are going to slide in at second again. It's pretty much going to be exactly like last year. Mets at second, Braves third, Nationals fourth, Miami fifth. I don't think it's going to be a one game in between, though, with the Mets and Braves this year. But that being said, I don't think there's going to be like a 6 to 7 game gap between the Mets and Phillies. I do think there's going to be like maybe like a 3 or 4 game gap and then maybe like a 2 game gap with the Braves. But
Right.
it's definitely going to be in that territory of like Phillies, Mets, Braves, Nationals, Miami.
Listen, man. So I got the Marlins 5th. I think they're going to be the worst team in the whole league. They barely have any guys that you recognize.
No.
Like
Did
they
you
have
see
Xavier Edwards?
Did you see that post on Twitter? Not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but did you see that post on Twitter about their organization put up this like help wanted ad that was asking people to play against their single A team? Like they were like looking for baseball players to play against our minor league system. And it was not fake, dude. Like, I literally saw reporters reporting about it. Like, it was like if you were an able-bodied baseball player, like, sign up to play against our minor leaguers because they didn't have guys for them to practice against. I'm like, dude, if I was down there, like, I would think about it. Like, why not?
Yeah,
Like,
fuck it all.
dude, like, I know. They said, like, college experience, like, recommended, but, like, you know.
Recommended?
Or, like, looking for, but, like, you know. I'm going out there. So anyway, but
yeah,
continue.
right. Let's take a flight out to Miami. But yeah, I got the Marlins. Like I said, they only have like a couple recognizable guys anymore. It seems like the guys that we thought were going to be good, like Edward Cabrera and Yuri Perez, Braxton Garrett, they're just always hurt, so it doesn't really matter. It's crazy because they were in the playoffs literally 2 years ago, and now they don't have anybody that you can recognize anymore in their lineup besides Xavier Edwards, like I said. Number 4, I got the
fantasy
Nationals
yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. He was a free agent in our Yahoo League for some reason.
Who?
Xavier Edwards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But with the Nationals, I got them 4th. That's just me being realistic. But I do think like if one of those teams above them fall off, they'll be there to pass them. Because I don't think the Nationals are going to have a terrible year. I just don't think obviously they're going to have a year where they make any real noise. But
I think they'll be hovering closer to 500 than last year.
And that the top 3 of their lineup, if it stays healthy, C.J. Abrams, James Wood, Dylan Cruz, that's a very dynamic top 3 hitters to have that can compete with a lot of teams.
Could win Rookie of the Year, James Woods. Wood. I always say Woods. Wood.
He was Rookie of the Year last year?
No, I said there's a good chance he could this year. Because I don't think he has enough eligibility, right?
No, yeah, he played most of last year. It's Dylan Cruz that's running for Rookie of the Year for the Nets.
Was he top 5 at all then last year? Top 3?
I don't know. I mean, I know with James Wood, he came up like around the time that Paul Skeens did. It was like 2 weeks after each other.
I thought I thought it was a little bit later. I guess you're right. Then it was earlier. Huh. Okay, that sounds kind of sucks.
He played
because
79 games. Yeah.
He's someone I feel like if he did play a full season, like he would be in the top 3.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Like the spring training that he had last year, like gave me everything I needed when he led everybody in OPS. But number 3, I got the Braves. I kind of feel the way you do. For me, it's going to depend on like can Lopez stay healthy, can Chris Sale stay healthy, can Acuna stay healthy, and you just keep going down the line. Can this guy stay healthy?
Riley.
Can that guy stay healthy? Like, can Riley have a good season?
Ozzie.
Can Matt Olson have a good season? Ozzie Albies.
Michael
But
Harris.
obviously, if they put it together, I mean, I like Michael Harris going into the year, but again, can he stay healthy? That's the thing. If they all do stay healthy, I like their addition. I like Schwallenbeck. I like AJ. There are two starters there, but I just don't see it happening. Really, I think that's what it comes down to. But if they stay healthy and Acuna comes back and he's electric, this could easily sway my mind.
And it's crazy too
Um,
because if they were healthy, I mean, we're talking about swapping from third to first, in my opinion.
yeah,
Like they would
and then
literally
that's
swap. Like
that's what it comes down to for me. But we just know like it's typical Atlanta Braves shit. The only time they won the World Series, they were unhealthy. So I mean,
yeah, exactly.
they've just never been healthy. Number two, listen, Wolfie, I got the Phillies. So you know who that means
Bullshit.
at number one.
Bullshit.
I
I
have the Mets winning the NL East, and listen, man, it's
think they
just
will
how much
next year.
faith and belief on Juan Soto. Juan Soto, what he gave to the Yankees is he gave them a World Series appearance, their first since 2009. I don't attribute that to anyone else. I don't attribute it to the acquisition of Jazz Chisholm, anything else. I think that was fully Juan Soto and what he was able to add to that lineup and Aaron Judge. I think he's going to add the same thing to the Mets. But you're talking about Pete Alonso, who had a down year last year. I think Pete Alonso is going to have a big year. He's going to have more protection in the lineup. Lindor is going to have more protection in the lineup. You go down the list of the hitters that the Mets have; they're very scrappy. It seems like a 1 through 9, list. Brett Beatty's, he made opening day as a starter. I love the upside that he has. The pitching, there's some left to be desired with the pitching. But I'm also counting on Edwin Diaz to be back fully healthy for a full year this time. We're counting on, they made some additions to their rotation. I like the Mets, man. And then with the Phillies, it's just like, they're going into opening day with Taijuan Walker as their fifth starter, and he's just absolute garbage juice, unfortunately. Jesus Luzardo I mean, a lot of people are hyping up that signing, but he's not really that good. So we'll see if he could just magically turn a page. Christopher Sanchez, obviously he's good, but Aaron Nola, he's on a decline.
And
Zach
Ranger Suarez
Wheeler,
is actually hurt right now. He just got a
yeah,
back injury like 2 days ago.
yeah.
Actually, you know what? I
So
will say that saying it out loud makes me feel better about the Mets rotation with comparison to
if the
them.
Mets just stay healthy and don't Mets it up, yeah, I think it'll be fine.
It's you know what it is about the Mets. I feel like if this was year two of Soto, I would probably agree with that. The thing that's like just worrying me right now is, I guess, almost the same thing what you just said about the Phillies is the rotation. And even with the Mets, the only thing is like there's some of their players that had very unique years last year. Like for example,
Yeah.
Pete had a down year, but then Lindor had a crazy year. But then Nimmo had a
Almost won
down
MVP
year.
if Shohei Ohtani
Yeah.
didn't exist.
And then you had Vientos with a good year. So it's like all of a sudden you got like almost opposites of
Oh,
what
I,
guys
I
usually
forgot
did.
Vientos, and I think he's gonna have another good
I
year.
do too. So it's like it's almost like you fooled me once, shame on you kind of thing. It's like the opposite of that. It's like the positive. It's like, okay, you showed me once, now confirm it for the second time to show me it was real, and
But
then
you're
let's go
adding
from
Juan
here.
Soto on
I
all of this
know, which is why
momentum.
I actually, like you said right when you said it, is that if this was 26 or 2026, I would 100% say the Mets. It's just like this is that like prove it. Last year to me wasn't even a prove it year because it was like a rebuild
It was just
year.
magical. It was just like lightning in a
Yeah.
bottle kind of
So
thing.
this is to me, it's like, all right, don't fool me. This is actually what you are. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
still waiting for it. But I'm not saying your breakdown was good though, because I don't disagree
Yeah.
with that.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
moving into the NL Central, I'll go first this time. Fifth, I got the Cardinals. They didn't do nothing in the offseason. They had one goal this offseason, and that was to trade Arenado. And they didn't even do that. So, I mean, I don't know. When it comes to the Cardinals, they don't excite me whatsoever. They have like a dark cloud hanging over them. They have a GM that is asleep or whatever the case may be. I got the Pirates at fourth. I know last year I had the Pirates at like second or something crazy. Listen, man, that Jared Jones injury hurts. I mean, it gets Bubba Chandler up there. Um, I just they continue not to do anything with their hitting, so it's just unfortunate that now their identity is just Paul Skeens. I mean, at least it is an identity, but now it's just what more can the Pirates provide? They need to put their foot on the gas because they're
That's
going
a
to
good
lose Paul
point.
Skeens. Their fans are going to get unhappy. Like we already know how this is going to go. Number three, I got the Milwaukee Brewers. Listen, every year I go in. I'm like the Brewers are going to suck. The Brewers are going to suck. The Brewers are going to suck, and they
But this
continue to
is the
prove me
year.
wrong. That's what I'm saying. This is the year. I don't know. they lost Adames. Their pitching doesn't really satisfy me. They don't like DL Hall is again injured going into the year. I love Chiriot. I think he's gonna be one of the best hitters on the planet this year. I just don't think it's gonna be enough. Like I don't believe in Christian Yelich. I don't believe in Reese Hoskins. Like it's a disgustingly put together team that just scraps by because the division sucks. But the two teams above them, the Cubs being second for me, and the Reds being first. I mean, when it comes to the Cubs, I just think it's a random group of good players that they've assembled. I think they're going to have to put some chemistry together. It seems like a bunch of angry white guys are over there. But the Reds are being led by Terry fucking Francona.
Woo,
The
your boy.
Reds are going to win this division, and the Reds are going to be a top team in the league this year. That is my hot take. I fully believe in Ellie, fully believe in the Reds. Their rotation is stacked. Hunter Green's going to be healthy. He almost won the Cy Young last year, if you guys remember, but he got hurt in the last month of the season. I think the
I
Reds.
tried to trade for one.
Yeah, they have like they're ready to go, man. They got Terry Francona. They got good healthy vibes in there. He hit the ball off the ball off the ball, whatever the saying is, stitches off the ball in spring
The ball
training.
off the ball.
But yeah, that's what I have for the NL Central, man. The Reds, Cincinnati, it's time.
So you had the Cubs second. I'm sorry. I thought you
Yeah,
had. Okay.
I mean with the Cubs,
I know you
think
said it quick. I thought you said the
yeah.
Reds, then the Cubs, but okay.
Well,
Okay.
it's just with the Cubs. I think like what the year is going to come down to is that they're depending on a lot from their starting pitching, which I don't think that they'll be able to give. But then on top of that, like the whole year is going to be centered around re-signing Kyle Tucker because if, like we said in the last episode, if they don't re-sign Kyle Tucker, that's going to be a very terrible trade for their history.
Uh, yeah, no, I agree. If they don't resign him, I don't think they are going to trade him because I feel like they're going to kind of do what they did last year with the Bellinger situation, where they didn't do that either.
It's just kind of. But that's the thing with them. It's just like they're telling these players, "Hey, if you want to stay, stay. If not, I mean, well, what are we gonna do? You know?"
I know. It's weird. Like, if you were to give me like every team's like roster and lineup on paper, and don't tell me like anything else, like I would say like, oh, this team, the Cubs, would have to be in first place because I like so many names on their team. Kyle Tucker. I mean, even Shota, just as their ace alone, is pretty good. I like some of their moves in their bullpen.
Don't say Ryan Presley. Oh, I knew you were gonna say it.
I mean, not even just him, but just like their bullpen in general is not like the worst. Like I don't think
Right.
it's bad. I like Seiya out there. I mean, Pete Crow has potential. Matt Shaw has potential. Personally, I actually wanted Justin Turner on the Mets as a DH, so I was good with that move. Like, I just feel like they're not necessarily like a bad team. But the problem with the Cubs is that like it's kind of been like the same thing for the last couple of years where they have names or like these band of misfits kind of put together, like you said it, and they just like don't produce. Like there's always a fall off that I just don't see this being the year that like I feel like 2016 and 15 and all those years they were rolling. They had a staff. They had these rookies, Baez and Bryant and Schwarber and Rizzo. Like I just don't get that vibe from them this year. But with that being said, I cannot count out the Brewers again. I just cannot count out the Brewers again, man.
So
Like
who do you got? Who do you got 1 through 5 then,
so,
or 5 through 1, however you want to do it?
it's Cardinals. I think are going to be dead last. I think the Cardinals are going to be like one of the worst teams in baseball.
Yeah,
I do think though.
they make me want to throw up.
I do say though there is like something about the Cardinals where it's almost like that weird NL Yankees where it's like they always find a way at some weird points to do better than they are. But I do think this is the year they're going to be really bad. I'm sorry, Pirates, but you just never do enough to excite me. I think you're going to do what you do every year and have like maybe like a strong April and then just die again.
Get people like me believing.
So this is the problem because third place sounds like third place like the third worst team, but I think it's going to be the Reds, but not because they're the third worst, but it's literally going to be like a game or two split between the three top teams. Like I think the Brewers are going to win it at the last second. I think the Cubs are going to be second by like a game or two, and then the Reds are going to be right behind them by like a game. It's literally going to be like a 3-game between like the top three, maybe 4. and it's going to come down to like the last month. I think every one of them is going to at least try at the deadline. I don't think I see any of them selling. And then they're just going to go for it at the last week, and it's just going to be whoever can stay hot the longest. There is a part of me, though, that, like you said, with Terry Francona, maybe the Reds do hang on and, like, don't fizzle out as much. But I just, like, some of the guys on their team, I just feel like are almost too more utility rather than, like, a star player yet for me to get behind it. But then, like I said, with the Cubs fallout, and then, like I said, I don't want to count out the Brewers. So any one of them can be the first place team, but I feel like that's how the order is going to be at the end of the day.
Okay, fair enough. So moving to the easier NL West, um, man, this was hard for me to do. I'm not gonna lie, because like I believe in the Giants' talent that they have there. I mean, you also can't count out the Padres. They still got Machado and Tatis right in the middle of their lineup, and then Bogarts, who could always have a comeback here. But number five, obviously, I got the Rockies. As we discussed, maybe they win 70 games, shock everybody. We'll see. But number four, I got the Padres, man. I mean, it's just another year of subtractions with not really any convincing additions. I mean, I like their lineup when you talk about Arise, Cronenworth, Bogarts, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis. But then after that, it kind of like fizzles out. They're starting pitching. There's not really too much there. I mean, I love Michael King, but Yu Darvish is coming in injured. I believe Musgrove. I believe he's coming in injured. If not, he's coming in a bum. So either which way, it doesn't really matter. I don't know. Nothing really excites me on the Padres. But if Fernando Tatis has a big year, let's see where that could take them. But number three, I got the Giants. I think the Giants are going to surprise a lot of people. Maybe they don't make the playoffs necessarily, but I love their rotation. I love they have a collection of really scrappy guys that I think can take them into winning a few games and contending for a wild card. But obviously, number two, I got the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're stacked. I mean, they had a great offseason. I mean, obviously, no one had as good of as an offseason or last season as the Dodgers did. So the Dodgers are number one, and I think they're going to win 107 games, 108 games. But like when it comes to the Diamondbacks, I think they're going to be a pain in the ass for the Dodgers. I think they're going to take some games from the Dodgers this year. I mean, I think Corbin Carroll is going to have a bounce back year. Jordan Lawler, I think, is going to hit the scene maybe 2 months in, and I think he's going to light it up. They have Corbin Burns now along with Zach Gallen. Merrill Kelly is going to be healthy this year. Brandon Pfaadt looked really good in spring training. They have Justin Martinez as their emerging closer. I think they're all set. I think they're all ready to go for war. I think they're going to win a wild card. And then the Dodgers first. I mean, Mookie Betts is sick and lost like 20 pounds or whatever, but like I don't care. They got Shohei Ohtani and Freeman and all them pitchers and everybody. It's a party in fucking Los Angeles. Did you mute yourself?
I did mute myself, my bad.
Oh, okay, cool.
Good list. There was a part of me actually when you were talking about like starting with the Rockies at the bottom was like, you know what, maybe I should do something crazy and put the Padres at fourth. But there's something about the Padres where I feel like I counted them out when they traded Soto.
They'll do just enough to get by,
I know, and I feel like they're the team that gets hot at the end of the year to where I could see them leapfrogging the Giants the last month. So that's the only reason I'm going to put them third.
Right.
Arizona, what's weird though is that there is a part of me though that can always feel like Arizona and Padres could be like I think right now Arizona's the better team, but then if they flip flop at the end of the year, kind of like last year, I could actually see that. But my money right now is on the Diamondbacks. But I will say one thing, and I've been saying it for a while. There is a pathway for the Dodgers to not be as good as everybody thinks they are. I don't think they're necessarily going to lose the division at all, but especially right now, I look at it like this: like,
what are you saying, Wolf? What are you saying?
Mookie is sick right now. And whether or not he's sick right now, he's had injury history. So just like combining like the weirdness of his health the last couple of years, concerning. Freeman's got some issues already. He missed the first 2 games of the year already. And he's been like, I think it's an on and off back thing, if I'm not mistaken. It's his back.
I think it's his ankle.
Is it his ankle? Now, was last year his back at all?
No, so last year was his ankle, but he fixed it in the offseason, so that's why he's starting off a little bit slow.
Because I have both of them in fantasy. Ranger, I read, had the back thing, so I wasn't sure if both of them did. Either way, he's missed some time with injury. And on top of that, there is a chance they do throw Shohei this year. And if he gets an injury too,
Yeah.
plus we've seen Snell injuries, we've seen pretty much every single guy in that staff, Glasnow, get injured. They've traded some pieces, like Lux isn't there anymore. I'm not saying he was a huge piece, but he was a good utility guy. Like there are pieces to this team where if they start to drop one by one by one, they might not win 110 games. Now, I still think they're going to win 94 plus easy, but there is a pathway to like right now, gun to my head, they're going to win the World Series. But if they start to lose some of these guys, I could easily see them being knocked out, or even like having to run towards the end of that finish line a little bit faster than I thought they were with the Diamondbacks on their
Yeah.
tail.
I think they have absolutely nothing to worry about whatsoever. Like, they could not have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, and I think they'll be okay. I mean, reason being is they got so many prospects that either they can call them up or they can trade them and get whatever they want. And then if Betts and Freeman are to start off slow, you still got Teoscar, Will Smith, Conforto, Tommy Edman. Like, the list just goes on and on there. But like with the pitching, man, like their top 5 rotation guys are going to be Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Sasaki, Gladstone, and Dustin May. But they also have 11 pitchers on their IL right now. So
I
everything
know.
that we know of the Dodgers right now, they're going to get these additions as the year keeps going on, and they're going to get to make trades. And the Dodgers are in a very beautiful position where I would love to see how it actually fails. Like, I would actually love to see it.
Well,
Like, I want to see like what could be the actual cause of their
and
failure, and it'd
and you know
probably be
it's
Ohtani getting injured. Like, you have a good point with that.
well, and it's funny too
But
because now that I'm thinking about it out loud, which kind of just proves that why they won't fail. I didn't even like I said, I don't think they're going to lose the division, and I think the Diamondbacks could creep up on them. But the
yeah,
thing is, like I mentioned, the names like Mookie Betts and Freeman. But at the same time, then you'll have like a random guy like fucking Tommy Edmonds step up out of nowhere
that's what I'm
and hit
saying.
300 for the month. So
Chris
they all,
Taylor can come back out of nowhere and just
I
have a
know
good year.
things that
Like,
shouldn't happen will happen just by luck. And like you said, they'll all of a sudden like fucking traded Alex Verdugo for Mookie Betts again and like just walk away with it. So like my worst case scenario is worst case, but at the same time, like they already have the remedy for it. So it's like, who am I to say anything?
it's interesting, man. But swinging over to the AL, let's start with the AL West. I'll let you open up with that one.
The AL West. This is interesting. I think the bottom team will be the
I have a hot
Angels.
take. I
I
have a
think
hot take for this one.
I think the Angels are going to be the worst team. The Angels are terrible. Like I think Mike Trout's unfortunately going to get hurt again this year. I don't like the additions they made necessarily. I feel like these additions maybe
Ooh,
would have made sense.
we're on
Like
opposite ends of that.
I'm not too thrilled with it. I just feel like some of them were a little bit past due on it. Like if that makes any sense. Like
No,
it's
that,
almost
that makes sense.
kind of reminds me almost like how the Mets would like shop like before the Cohen era and the Wilpon era. I don't think the Angels are going to be that great. Um, my fourth place team is actually going to be the. I think it's actually going to be the Seattle Mariners. I think the Seattle Mariners are going to be in fourth place. I just don't see them like if they don't trade for like 3 or 4 bats at the deadline. Like I just don't see their offense producing at all, man. Like their pitching staff is like probably one of the best pitching staffs I've seen in the last 10 years on one team.
And then
But
the lineup is like one of the
it's
worst.
so bad, dude. Like I remember last year they were just DFAing guys and just like Ty France didn't even exist anymore for them. Like, and it's crazy because they just gave money to Cal Raleigh. Yes, like literally today it got officially confirmed and it happened yesterday. But it's like, even that, it's like, all right, you're paying like a good hitting catcher, but like, what's the fucking rest of your team? So, I'm actually really down on them this year. Like,
You have a
and
good
it's
point, man.
and I want J Rod to do well. Like, I like them, and I like the whole team when they're fun and exciting. But it's just like I can't stand their ownership anymore. So I'm just gonna rate them low. Um, Dude, I want to put this team higher, but I think this is where they cap for me, which is the Oakland A's. I can't put them higher yet. I need to see the downfall of the Astros more to put them higher because I do have the Astros at 2. I think the Rangers are going to go back to their Ranger ways of last 2 years ago and I think they're going to be really good. I think Seager's going to go off. I think DeGrom's going to be relatively healthy. I just think their bats are going to be absolutely crazy.
Insane.
But to go back to that quick, yeah, like I think Oakland's actually going to be way better this year than people are expecting them to be because they actually did really good at the second half last year. They actually made some moves this year. Dude, Jeremy Springs and Severino added to that rotation alone is going to get them a couple more wins. I'm not saying they're ace mates here, but dude, we're talking about two good 2 to 3s in your
Yeah.
rotation. Rookers that are
And then like
Brent,
everything that like the other guys have shown too.
yeah,
Like you think of
JJ
Spears, Estes, Mitch Spence,
Butler.
Vito, like
Yeah,
yeah.
dude. I think overall that team's going to be good, better, and I actually think they're the team. Obviously, the other team's going to utilize it too, but I think the team's going to hit really well at Sacramento. I think it's a bit smaller than their obviously Coliseum, so I think they're going to crush it. I think they're going to give up some home runs, but I think they're going to hit some home runs. Astros, I think, are still going to be really good. Oh, good. Like, around 80,
Yeah.
high 80s, 90 wins maybe. But I think Texas is just going to steamroll and just kind of go back to the Texas ways like 2 years ago.
Yeah, man. I mean, this division will be very interesting if the Rangers become unhealthy again. I think this will be the most interesting division because look, I have the Mariners 5th. I think that their hitting is really bad. I think
I can
pitching
see that,
is
dude.
like pitching is good. They've been healthy pitching wise, so like one unhealthy curse can really make this team like one of the worst teams in the league. I just think like it's a shame they don't put protection around Julio Rodriguez. I don't believe in a Rosarena, bro. I don't know. I think they're 5th. 4th, I got the Angels, but at the same time, I like the Angels hitting. I mean, their starting pitching is yeah. I like their bullpen, but I like NATO. I like Ohapi. The list goes on. They have
Like,
they have a
Solaire's
good
not bad. Travis isn't bad. Like, I don't think they're a
they
bad
have, they
team.
have
It's just
Christian
like,
they have Christian Moore coming up, who I like really love. It's a good bunch of hitters. I mean, if Yon Moncada can be healthy, Joe Adell, can provide. The big name that I like there is Nolan Shanuel. I think he's going to have a really big year there in LA. And then Tyler Ward is also, another productive bat. They have a lot of productive bats. They have Ron Washington, who's changing the culture in LA. So I think they can easily be better than 4th, but they're the Angels at the end of the day. So, And then I got the Athletics 3rd for everything that you said. They have it's the same thing that we every 3 years. Oh my God, the Athletics have talent. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do with it. Number 2, Astros. I don't even have them making the wild card. I just think too many injuries, too many subtractions, just not enough time. Maybe they fix it with some moves. Cam Smith is going to be there day one, so we'll see how good that he is if he can be generational, and then that could do it. But I agree with you. I think the Rangers steamroll everybody. They have all the young talent. They have all the veterans. They have the pitching. They have the bullpen. They don't even know who they want to put at closer because they got a lot of good options. But it's their hitting mainly, man. The Rangers hitting, I think offense won them the World Series the last time, and it could very well be that situation again, especially if you consider that if Evan Carter or if Wyatt Langford or if Jung, if one of those guys can just channel a good year, just one of them can channel their potential, it's going to be disgusting for Texas. So that's how I have it.
By the way, just a quick point. I do want to at least say something for Seattle because I didn't have them 5th. I had them 4th, and I know we ripped their hitting, and their hitting is pretty freaking bad. But I do want to say one thing, which is like their team has weird pieces. Meaning, like I'm not high on Randy either. And obviously, as a Nationals fan, you've seen the worst of Victor Robles. But like,
but Victor Robles did good last year.
But that's my point. So like,
yeah.
if you had like the best of Randy, the best of J Rod, and the best of Victor Robles, what we saw last year, like that's a damn good outfield. But
that's
the problem,
a good start.
I know, but the problem is that like, it's like I just feel like it's not gonna happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? And where it's just like, it's like hopes and dreams of years ago, where it's like, or like a prospect that like could be in training again.
It's not even like
they brought back Jorge Polanco, and like he sucked last year. So it's like, what do you hope? Yeah. Like, what do you think you're gonna get this year?
You got Rowdy Tellez. Like, I don't know why. I know.
And like I said, I know like their catcher is good. Like you would think like I said, you would think Randy and Julio and Raleigh on paper would be really good, but like in reality, we've seen it for like a couple of years now, and it's just like it's not. It's not.
Just But yeah, man, AL Central. I'll make my list quick here. I got the White Sox last. They suck. I got the Twins fourth. They also suck. I got the Royals at third, which is hard. It's hard for me to rank the Royals, Guardians, and Tigers. But I got the Royals third. I don't think they added too much, which maybe they didn't need to. They still have a good, group of pitching, and they have decent hitting, but I don't know, man. I got the Royals third, but I do have them getting the last wild card position, if that means anything to anybody. Number two, I got the Guardians. I think the Guardians are ridiculously talented this year. I think they can honestly make a push to being the American League's best team. But I got the Tigers winning the division. I am a full believer of the Tigers. Listen, Casey Mize is looking like the first round pick that they drafted him at. They have obviously, Skubal coming in, as the former Cy Young. They're hitting up and down. Look at how many underrated hitters they exactly have. And then you're adding Gleyber Torres on top of that. I think Riley Green's going to be an MVP candidate. I think Kerry Carpenter is going to be good as an everyday outfielder this year rather than the platoon that he was last year. I'm fully on board with the Detroit Tigers, and I think they win the division.
Not bad, not bad. You're gonna hate my take because I have almost the complete opposite.
Oh, wow. White Sox first?
So the last place team I think is going to be the Detroit Tigers. No, I'm kidding. The White
Oh,
Sox. The White Sox are going to be last place. And I think fourth place is going to be the Detroit Tigers. I think the Detroit Tigers are going to be in fourth place because
no way. No
yeah,
way.
dead ass. Because while I do really like some of their young pieces and I like Screwball, first off, we've seen injury from some of their pitching staff in the pretty much every single year. But the problem with them is that like they don't ever do enough for me to get them past that hump of like I want them to be better. Like don't get me wrong, like I've seen some good moments of Gleyber Torres in Yankee Stadium, but I think every Yankee fan will tell you that like they were fine with him leaving. And to me, it's like with the Tigers getting him as like one of almost like their main acquisitions. Like to me, that's just like isn't enough. Like if it was like him and Kyle Tucker, like something like that, or even him and like a Bellinger, like I would kind of understand it a little bit more. I just like I'm not as high on that being enough to push them over the edge. So I'm actually going to have them fourth. But the reason I have them fourth is because I actually think their division is going to be a little bit more competitive this year than other years. I think the Royals are actually going to take a step up from last year. Not farther, like I'm not talking like 5, 6 games, but I think they're going to keep that trajectory of going back to the playoffs. So I think they're just going to be like a normal average, same as last year, third place team. I think the Twins are just going to get their shit together again because a lot of their pitching staff is whole again this year. And let's be honest, like Correa has been way better this year, just better numbers wise than I thought they were going to be. Plus, like they got a lot of really good rookies, like ready to knock down the door and come up. That like, I don't know, man. I count out the Twins every year, and they just slap. And if they don't have
No, you
their
don't. You count the Twins in every year.
no, that's what I said. I said I count the I no, I don't count them at top of the division, but I count them out as in like being towards like third or fourth place. I never have them at first place because I'm never high on Byron Buxton, but I'm way higher on their pitching staff and bullpen. And the thing about last year is like they were cruising. They were going back and forth between the Guardians the whole year, but they just died in September. So if you just take out that death, like I mean, I still think they're gonna at least be in the top,
Take out the
like,
death.
because dude, if like I said, they were in second place most of last year. So if like they don't fall off again, they'll probably be third or second. So it's really just a toss up between third place. So it would be like I said, if Royals wouldn't be third place, it would be Tigers. So then it would just be a toss up between them and the Tigers. But I think they would edge the Tigers. So it would really just be like, if it's by 1 or 2 games, I still think they would edge the Tigers. Because you got to remember, the Tigers were like crap for almost all of last year until the last 2 months. And they really didn't do too much to
But
change
you gotta
that.
understand why they were crap though. Like Riley Green was hurt. Kerry Carpenter was only in a platoon spot. Colt Keith wasn't doing good. But this year, like we're talking about, Colt Keith, He's going to be in his second year. He had a good end to the year. Spencer Torkelson had a good, time when he came up last year. He had a good spring as well. Gleyber Torres. I mean, the only reason I think Gleyber Torres underperformed these last few years is specifically because he was a New York Yankee. I think you take him out of that spotlight, put him in Detroit, he could go back to being a 30 home run hitter. But like, I think their strength is in their pitching. They have a whole bunch of guys that people would say are no name, bullpen guys. But if you really look into their stats, they have like a good, just above average bullpen with several names. And then their starting pitchers, Skubal, Flaherty, Reese Olson, Casey Mize, and Jackson Joby. I think they're ready to rock, man. I think you're not. And to say the Twins are going to be better than them when they have broken ass Byron Buxton, broken ass Royce Lewis, broken ass Carlos Correa,
I think
I
they
don't know, man.
will. I do. I think the Twins' rotation is way
You
better
got me
than
going. Like
theirs.
Pablo Lopez is one of the worst pitchers in the league now.
No,
I don't know how you could say that.
dude. Because the thing is, first off, we haven't seen anything from Jackson Jobe. Schoolball's obviously great, but like, all right, Flattery's dude. He almost didn't even get a job this offseason. He had to go
No,
back to the Tigers.
he was one of
Bro,
the.
he
He
went
was
back
one
to
of
the
the top
Tigers.
three.
He went back to the Tigers late because no one wanted him. The Dodgers said we'll
No,
see you tomorrow because he sucked
no.
in the playoffs. Like, I'll be honest, like Flaherty wasn't even that good years prior. Before, like, he was good like 4 or 5 years ago, and then he had like basically sucked, and then a lot of injury, and then he had a decent year on the Tigers. You got to remember, dude, the Tigers got rid of him last year. They traded him away. So it's just like, I'm
Yeah,
not
when they
saying like
traded him away, he had a 2.95 ERA. He loves that park. He loves Detroit.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying like they obviously wanted him back, but like I'm not like if they weren't like cruising with him, I just don't see like these additions really pushing them over the edge. Now, if last 2 months was what they are, sure, but
And
like,
then they have
dude,
AJ Hinch.
and in a
They have
way,
AJ Hinch leading the team, and they beat the
but
Astros in the playoffs.
but in a
They
way
are
though,
coming in ready.
and you can, and it's funny because you should see that I'm not being biased with this take or anything because I even said the Mets are going to be in second place. So it's like kind of almost the same thing how I feel about
But
the
you're a
Tigers.
Twins fan though. Like you're not even really a Mets fan. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
but I'm saying like it's kind of how I feel about the Tigers, where it's like it was such a short, like almost abnormality that I can't believe it until I see it more past a half of a year. By the way, fourth place isn't necessarily a disrespect because I think like at least 3 teams from that division are going to probably make the playoffs. So to say like, oh, they're fourth, it's like fourth but just missing, like kind of thing.
All right, fair enough. I don't know why we're even arguing.
I
fourth
know.
place
I don't
in the
even
AL
care.
Central.
Like about. I actually hate to say it, but the AL Central is by far my least favorite division. So.
No, so the AL East, number 5, I got the Rays. I mean, I
Oh,
think they got
Guardians
some
were
good.
first. If you couldn't tell, by the way.
Oh yeah. I got the Rays 5th. I don't think they're going to be anything exciting, but they do have a lot of exciting people come up. They just got to tell them not to be like Wander Franco. I think they'll be okay in another couple of years. Number 4, I got the Blue Jays. I know, like, I made a take that I think they can possibly win the division, and I do think they can. It's just I think there's just too much around Vlad Guerrero's contract, too much around Bo Bichette trying to get his shit together. The rotation, there's a lot of question marks. Even though there's a lot of talent, there's also a lot of question marks. I don't really like the Jays this year, but third, I have the New York Yankees. But this 1 through 3 here for the AL East, I think could be legitimately in any order that you want because the Yankees, even with all the injuries and all the weirdness, they still have again Freed and Rodon atop the rotation. They're gonna get Gill back. They're gonna get Clark Schmidt back. Their lineup, they still have Aaron Judge. So at the end of the day, they have a chance to win any single game with Aaron Judge in there. Second, though, I got the Orioles and I have them winning the wild card. I just don't believe in their starting pitching, but I do believe in their hitting. I do believe in their bullpen. But the Red Sox, I think, are the most complete team out of these. And I think the Red Sox can win as long as they obviously stay healthy. And I don't even care what Trevor Story does. I think like they
Fuck
have
Trevor Story.
they have guy after guy after guy in their starting rotation. And they have options after like Bayo and Cutter Crawford aren't even in their opening day rotate. They're going to get them as an addition as they keep going along into the season. They have all these young guys. They have people at their disposable where if one guy sucks, the next guy can just come up and take that guy's spot. I think they're in the best spot. Do I necessarily truly believe they'll win the AL East? I'm on the fence. It's weird to even say that they're going to win the AL East, but I do think right now they are in the best spot they can be in comparison to Baltimore and New York.
It's a good list. I almost at first I was thinking I was gonna be right on with you, but the more and more I think about it, I think I'm gonna actually start with Toronto in last place. I'm just like not high on them at all, like whatsoever. Like I actually think Vlad's just gonna have a great year, but I just like the rest of the team. And it's weird because I don't think like Santander there is great. Like I love Santander, and I think they have pieces of their starting rotation that could be good, like serviceable enough. But with what we've seen over the last like 3 seasons of expectations and just falling flat on their face, it's almost like I said with every other team where it's like they did good for a year, so don't fool me again. It's like, all right, now it's been 3 or 4 years, we've seen what you've done, and I just feel like they haven't done enough to get better this offseason. So it's probably gonna be in the same boat as me where they're either gonna be third or fourth. I would love to put the Rays higher. I would love to put the Rays at third or second place. I just can't do it yet. Like, just not enough names. Like,
I
they're
like
so.
Caminero. Like I like a bunch of their guys.
I
Carson
like.
Williams,
Yeah,
but
I like it, but it's just like, even just the way they still operate with the way they do their rotation and bullpen games. It's just like I
they're
can't get
not even going to
behind
be
it.
like they're bringing back St. Pete. Like they're bringing back Tropicana Field,
I
which is
know,
insane
and
to
they're not
me.
moving. Yeah, so it's like, I I think they're actually going to be like a scrappy team still. I just really can't see them being much more than like a 500 team, uh, which is why I think they're going to be lower. Because, dude, I tell you one thing, man, which is, I almost put them fourth, which is the Yankees. I almost put them fourth like you did, uh, because if the Yankees team goes south, I mean, we're talking like obviously Cole's already out, but if Heel doesn't really come back much, you gotta remember he's already missing 3 months. We don't know how much he's even gonna pitch when he does come
Yeah.
back, or where they, dude. If they're already out of it, he might never even come back. They might just tell him rest for the rest of the
And
year.
that's the thing with the Yankees is like even if they do put together a year where they're good, I don't think they have anything. I like for example, like if in my example, I don't think they can beat the Tigers, Guardians, Rangers, or Orioles in a or Red Sox in a playoff series. I don't think they can do it. I don't think they'll have the power to do so.
No, and like I've never been high on Rodon. Like, dude, you gotta remember with the Yankees. Like, all right, if Dominguez doesn't pan out, that's a loss. We don't know what we're getting from Bellinger. Paul
Yeah.
Goldschmidt could be too old. Volpe's never, you know, panned out to what we thought he was going to be. They don't have a third baseman, dude. If Judge gets hurt, we're
It's
talking
done.
maybe a sub 500 team. That's
It's
why, like, I
done.
even jokingly said like they could be fourth. I don't want to
It'd be like one of
wish
those weird
injury.
Yankees teams again. Like remember when they had like Vernon Wells and fucking Ichiro and
Well, dude,
Lyle Overbay?
this could be like how the Yankees were 2 years ago when Judge was hurt. And they were like just finished at 500, but luckily they
And
had
they're yelling
wins.
like, "This is why you put talent around them."
Exactly. So I and I don't want Judge to get hurt because I have him in both my fantasy leagues, but it's to the point where yeah, if they do, it could be south. That being said, just quick to round it out, then Yankees third. I can't put Boston. Dude, it's literally, I'm not even joking you. It's like one of those things where depending on the day, just flip the coin. The thing that really scares me about Baltimore, why I think they're hitting so good, and obviously they've been cranking the last couple of years, their pitching staff is really starting to scare me with how they haven't replaced certain guys. Grayson's hurt now. They don't have Burns this year. Other guys are
Yeah,
coming back from major injuries. So it's like I'm actually more comfortable with the Red Sox's
and
rotation
that's what
right
I'm
now.
saying. Like,
That's probably the only reason I got to give it to the Red Sox. I feel like I'm more
and it's
comfortable
weird
with
because
their
like I don't
pieces.
truly believe in the Red Sox because they have
No,
question marks themselves, but then I definitely don't
no.
believe in the Yankees and Orioles. So
You can make
it's
an argument out of all the ones we've done so far. This has probably been the most difficult to pinpoint because all of
bro.
them
'Cause
could
I'm
be
trying to
there
figure
or
out
none
wild
of
card
them.
teams, and it's difficult.
Yeah.
But let's go into some rankings here. Who are your top 5 players who you think are going to be the biggest surprises this year?
Um. Let me get my list here.
Take your time. We're having a good episode so far.
Yep. Um. Hold up. So number one, we actually already talked about. Even I know sophomore slump and everything, but I was looking through rankings the other day. This isn't really in any order, but just is that I
Yeah.
think Mark Vientos is actually going to be really good this year. There's so many like third base rankings and just Met
I was
rankings still down on him that I've
And that's what I'm
seen.
saying. He had such a good last year, and then the year before that, he had a lot of good moments, if you remember,
Yep.
like in his rookie campaign. I'm shocked that not a lot of that's a good choice because no one's talking about him at
Yeah,
all. I
and
didn't even talk about him.
dude, I feel like
So
even Met fans are kind of down on him. Like I even said in the beginning of the year, like or the beginning of the episode, that like I brought his name up, but like he's still an unknown because we haven't seen it more than a year. But you still gotta at least give respect to what he has done. So
right,
that's number one. Number two is I think Justin Verlander is literally going to be really
yes.
good this
And
year.
that's why I was talking about the Giants, bro. They have a
Yeah,
very good veteran ace atop their rotation to go with what they already have with Webb and etc.
yep. I think he's going to be really good to bounce back. With the AL or with the East, I should say the AL East. I don't know why. Well, actually, I do know why because he says he's in the past. He says he's wanted to pitch there before. If they are in first place, I could see just a late career monster season from Aroldis Chapman because he's officially the Boston Red
He's
Sox
going in as
closer
the
now.
closer, bro.
Yeah, he's going in
Love
as the
that kid. He went
closer.
from beating his wife and touching his mother's titties, and
I
he's had
know.
such a crazy
Dude,
fucking
and he's had a long career, dude. When you think about it, where he's gone, especially
he
the like, he didn't give up to these last few years with bouncing around.
if he didn't get into that fight with his wife, I think he's a Hall of Famer, but that's a conversation for a different,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah, different. That's a different conversation.
I don't even know if that's a conversation for a
Yeah.
different. I don't even think it's a conversation.
Yeah, we'll save that for the other
Our
podcast.
deathbed.
Um, then my next one is I think we're gonna see a really good breakout, maybe even top 10 MVP finish from Lawrence Butler. I think this is the year from the Athletics
Okay.
that he's going to be really
He's
good.
talking a lot. He's
I
talking a
know,
lot.
and
We'll
I
see.
I think they paid him if I'm not mistaken. I think they tossed some money his
They
way
gave
this
him a little
offseason.
extension.
A
A
little
little
something,
extension.
a little
A little
something.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to really be good this year.
Athletics spent money, bro. Like I'm kind of intrigued with this Vegas
Yeah,
move. Like they're starting to spend.
they're not bad. And then you know what's funny? We were kind of low. We actually you actually were low on this guy. You brought him up in this video already. I actually think if he is healthy, but that's the problem is I don't necessarily think he's going to be healthy. By the way, honorable mention, I think Paul Goldschmidt's going to be pretty good.
Okay.
But I actually think if he's healthy, we could see at least an all-star style Christian Yelich again if he's healthy. The only reason why he's the last
Yeah.
of my players because I think his injury that one was the back injury, and those are really hard to overcome.
Yeah.
But if he does come back, I still think he could be at least if not the second behind Chiriyo, I think he could be the best player on that team again, which would be kind of nice to see
Right.
again.
Fair enough. So listen, my top five. I'm gonna start off with the San Francisco Giants. He's starting off in the bullpen, but I think he'll end up in the rotation by the end of the year. I think Hayden Birdsong. I was high on him last year. I'm very high on him going into this year. It's not because my son's name is Hayden. Well, it might be just a little bit. But I think Hayden Birdsong, he has a full repertoire. He's around all these veterans. He's the guy that no one really put spotlight on because Kyle Harrison was like their top, pitching prospect. I think Hayden Birdsong with no pressure. I think he's going to come in. He's going to light it up. The moment one person gets injured in that rotation, he's in and he's going to light it up. The next person on the list, I got Wyatt Langford. Not a lot of people are talking about what he can
I was
bring
thinking about him.
to.
He was one of the ones I was
Yeah,
thinking about.
I mean, he had a down year at the start of last year, but that last month he had, a really good month that kind of made a lot of people believe in him again. He's still very young. I mean, he was literally in college at the beginning of 2024. So I think, he's one of those guys that you can see having a 20-year career, veteran, just a solid hitter all the way through. The next guy I have is Junior Caminero. I mean, not a lot of people are talking to him in regards to the top, young players in this game, but I think he is going to be a guy for the Rays that they can count on to get them back into competing again. Again, I don't think the Rays are going to be good, but I think Junior Caminero, I think at least, 20 home runs, 70 RBIs, some stolen bases, good fielding. I think he'll open up a lot of people's eyes this year as they play in the Yankees field in Florida, wherever they're playing this year. But number two, I got Walker Buehler. I think, being
That's a good
out of the
choice.
Dodgers and getting this fresh start with the Boston Red Sox, I think he's going to be in Cy Young contention. I don't think he'll win it, but I think he'll at least be top 5 as long as, of course, like we say with most of these guys, as long as he can stay healthy. I think people forget just how good Walker Buehler was before he had that Tommy John surgery, and people forget how good these pitchers tend to be after they get the Tommy John surgery.
I did not, because I have him in every league we play in.
Yeah,
So
I think the only I think the only leagues I don't have him in is the leagues I am in with you because you
yeah,
have.
I think he's gonna be
Um,
excellent.
Number one, I think Mackenzie Gore, man. Call me a Nationals homer, call me whatever
So
you want.
random.
Mackenzie Gore is going to be the ace of this Nationals rotation, but I think it's rightfully so. He showed a lot of spurts last year where he gave you like these 10 strikeout performances, 8 strikeout performances, very good performances. And he also gave you some very shitty performances. I mean, there was a month there where I thought he probably is not, he's not even going to finish the year in the major leagues. But he came back last year and he improved his stuff. And that's kind of the thing I wanted to pinpoint. He's shown the ability to improve and figure it out as the year went along, which he had never done before, which was a huge development for him. I honestly think he's going to be top 10 Cy Young. I don't want to say top 5, but he could easily be top 5 because the Nationals are going to win some games. He's going to have some hitters behind him. And I think as long as he just keeps his head straight, stays healthy, like we say for everybody else, he's going to be a top pitcher in this league.
Yeah, so I actually realized I started at number 1, so maybe I should start at number 5, but I'm just gonna go start at number 1. I already did. So number 1 is Bobby Witt Jr. I think with the speed, good glove. He's hitting he's hitting above 320, 330. You don't see that much these days. Just a 5 tool all around. Just love the guy.
I'm
He's
surprised
number
he's your
one.
number one.
Yeah, dude, he was just so good last year. I mean, we're talking almost a guy that could take down Judge in numbers. Like he's right there. This one's hard
It
because
is. I agree. It is.
I feel like and even if Bobby Witt's not your one, I feel like once you say your one, it's the next ones that get like you. If you had Gunner one or Ellie one, but it's the next set that gets hard. I have to take Francisco Lindor. I really was gonna say Gunner, but I have to go Francisco Lindor, simply from the fact that he was legitimately an MVP last year. Like that's actually why I had Bobby Witt Jr. number 1, because the Royals have like nothing. Let's be honest. Like I love the Royals. They had nothing, and the fact that team got to the World or the playoffs was his doing in the pitching. The Mets, it was the same boat. They had some hitters last year. Like, don't get me wrong, Vientos hit good, but Pete was not what Pete was. Nimmo was not what he should have been. I mean, you basically had Jose Iglesias hitting 300. Like,
Yeah.
Lindor was the MVP. And he plays spectacular defense. So, like, I have to put him at number 2 right now. Is he going to replicate that? That's a big if, but I did doubt him in times, and he proved me wrong, so I can't do it again. Number 3, then, is going to be... This was really hard, because I actually had number 4 at number 3, but with the... He's so young, and I gotta give it to Gunnar Henderson, because he's just... Dude, he's almost hitting 40 home runs as a shortstop. I mean... he's just so young and so good. Like, I want to put the next guy next, but also Gunner's proven to stay healthy for the most part. So that's why number 4 for me is actually going to be Corey Seager. If Corey Seager was healthy, I could damn near put him at number 1, but he just hasn't stayed healthy recently. But even last year, not staying healthy, he still had 30 home runs. He still had 74 RBIs. Like, we're talking
You're still hitting the hell out that ball, man.
That's what I'm saying. We're basically talking like Gunner territory, but even like better offense than that. Like I know maybe his glove isn't like diamond like Lindor, like like diamond platinum glove, but like his hitting is literally one of the best, not just in shortstops but in the league when he's healthy.
Might be the best when he's healthy. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly.
Like if he gives you a healthy season, I feel like he can put up better numbers than Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, like he's literally like
he's that good.
He could if he had a full I'm talking like 150 minimum games healthy season. I think he could win the MVP again. That's how we're talking. Which is why, like I said, like 2 to 5 is so freaking hard for me.
And then you just get him to the playoffs, and he's like a 400 hitter. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and you know what it was too? It's the same thing with the Gunner. It's the same thing with him. I felt like the guys around them are so good that it's like a little bit harder for me to put them above Lindor for right now. So I just want to throw that out there. Number 5 is, I guess, where it gets a little bit easier for me, is that as of right now, I probably have to go Ellie. I know he strikes out a ton, which is actually why I'm always a little bit lower on him than a lot of guys. Like, dude, his speed is incredible. His power is incredible. Like, his glove is great, but it's just like, dude, those strikeouts haunt me, especially as a shortstop. Like, I know it's a different ball game, but like, when you're striking like 140 plus times a year, like that's got to change. And especially when you're a guy that has speed, like, bro, just hit the ball. Hit the ball.
Yeah.
Like, dude, stop striking out. It's like, that's why I can't put him that high yet. But that's
Because
definitely
a
going to be
lot
my
of people
top
thought he was going
five.
to steal 100 bases, and then he kind of like tailed down a little bit. But
Yeah.
listen, man, I like your list. Our list is somewhat similar. I just don't have Seager on the list. The reason why is because when it comes to Corey Seager, I have him in the same stratosphere as a Kawhi Leonard for basketball, in that like he's going to get injured, and you know he's going to get injured, so you can't really accurately rank him, but at the same time, it's like those injuries don't take away from the ball player that he is. It's just you can't really. It's hard to compare him to other players who are probably going to be more healthier than him. But it's not a knock. I love Corey Seager. Like I said, when he's healthy, he's probably like the best hitter on the
I
planet.
actually have him in fantasy, too. Haha. The
Really?
whole episode. Yeah.
Number 5, I got Ellie. I think it's exactly what you say, but he's gonna just be better than he was last year. I mean, there's no doubt.
I expect him to
Um,
get better. Yeah. Yeah.
Number 4, I actually have a guy that you didn't list, a guy that I'm pretty sure is going to be a shortstop this year. I got Mookie Betts. I know going into it, he's a little down in weight. He's a little unhealthy in regards to being sick, but I think that he's an athlete. He's an elite athlete. He's one of the best athletes that we have. He would be probably number 1 on my list if he wasn't going into the season a little sick. But I love Mookie Betts, brother. He's at number 4 for me. Number 3, I got Lindor. Um, just been a top. He's probably been a top 5 shortstop since Cleveland. Like it's been a while now. He's definitely. I mean, we're starting to get to the point where we should be discussing Hall of Fame for this guy at some point. As long obviously he'll have to stay consistent for another like 5+ years, but he's been consistent for like very underratedly consistent for a while now.
I agree. And I'm not trying to shit on any other player, any other, whatever, but it's kind of funny how, like, the comparison of Trey to him just completely fell off the table the last 2 years. Like, it's like Trey wasn't even in, like, the discussion for us today. And
Well,
it's
it's like
like,
as a Nationals fan, I was trying to tell people like Trey Turner going to a different team, he's not like this big game changer. Like his speed is great. He has the ability to hit the hell out the ball, but he's an average hitter. He's a below average fielder. He's just a fast white guy. Like that,
yeah,
that's just all Trey
that's
Turner
really
really is,
it is. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yep.
Number 2, I got Gunnar Henderson. I know he's going in injured, but it's like you said, he's young, but it's the maturity, it's the great fielding, it's the being the guy that's leading the Orioles when no one thought he would be the guy. Everyone thought it was Adley or Jackson Holiday or all these other shiny names. They didn't expect it to be Gunnar, but Gunnar is kicking ass, and I think that continues this year. Number 1, Bobby Witt. I mean,
Right.
MVP candidate. Like you have to get like, and I don't mean MVP candidate because I know Francisco Lindor was an MVP candidate, but I truly didn't believe Shohei was going to lose. There was actually some belief between Witt and Aaron Judge that Witt might be able to steal it from him.
Yep.
So yeah, I got Bobby Witt Jr. at number 1.
Good list.
Yeah, man. So top 5 outfielders going into the season. I'll lead this off. Might be surprising to some, but number 1, I have Juan Soto as the
Oh,
top outfielder in the game. Listen, I think he's better than Aaron Judge. I think they're similar in fielding. Maybe Judge is faster, but Juan Soto's been a finalist for Gold Glove for a reason. He's a very underrated fielder. I love Juan Soto with the bat. I think he's gonna change the Mets for the generations to come, and I hate that as a Nationals fan. Number 2, I still don't got Aaron Judge. I got Fernando Tatis Jr. You guys forget that I am a big fan of Tatis. I think Fernando Tatis is going to have a big year. Listen, he's coming into this healthy. He had a fully healthy offseason. There's no bad headlines. There's no bad press. It's just nothing but go out and ball. And I think if there's one player that I could trust in to just go out and ball, it's Tatis. I love Tatis. Number 3, I got Aaron Judge. And all the Yankees fans that we've probably amassed as fans of our show are probably going to hate me and unsubscribe. But I got Aaron Judge at third. He had such a bad postseason last year. I'm going in with such a bad taste in my mouth for Aaron Judge that it's like, even if he hits 50 home runs again, I'm not going to be impressed. Do something in the fucking playoffs, Aaron Judge. But number 4, I got Kyle Tucker. I mean, it was an easy choice for me here just because, you look in the past 5 years, he's been a top outfielder. He probably has been one of the best outfielders in baseball. But I got 4 because I don't know what we're really going to get from him yet. Being in a hole, he's going from the south to the north, and on top of that, he's going to be worried about his contract as well. So I don't know if any of that's going to affect him, but he should still be a top outfielder in the game. And number 5, underrated. I said it earlier in the pod. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. Jackson Chourio, I have as the number 5 best outfielder in the game.
I like it. That's actually a solid list.
Chourio does it all. I think he proved it in the clutch last season, late in the year last year. I know he started off good, went down, ended off good. I think Chourio is going to be phenomenal. I don't see a sophomore slump for him.
No, which is pretty much the same thing what I would have with Jackson Merrill. He would be in my list too. So it's really he would actually probably be number 4 for me, and then Chourio would be 5. You know what? It's weird. If Chourio isn't 5, it would be like either a toss up of J-Rod or Corbin. The problem with them is I just saw both of them have like half good seasons. So I've been saying it all episodes that like fool me once thing, fool me twice. So I feel like they would be like 5A and 5B if I had to say it. But I just feel like I just saw Chourio do it recently. Plus, like his tools are right there to do it again. I don't think he's in that hard of a division, so I feel like maybe he could squeak by the 5th spot a little bit. I would love to see someone like Nimmo up there, but I don't think it's gonna happen yet. But I do think Judge.
Don't make me start laughing.
I know. I do think Judge is still gonna be like. And by the way, I'm not Jordan's a DH now. That's right. He's not an outfielder, so I'm not considering him in the outfield. I do think some of the rookies might be a little bit better too, but I can't really predict that yet. So it's really gonna be Judge. It's Judge. I can't put him over Soto yet, especially with the defense. Like, he is a good defender out there. I know he gets shipped for that fly ball in the outfield, but he is a good defender. So it would be Soto or Judge, Soto, obviously same as you, Tucker, and then that would be Merrill and then Chourio. So that would be my top 5.
Wow, no Tatis. Ooh,
no, he was like towards the I like Tatis, but it's just. So there's something with the Padres this year that I'm just not too high on.
Steroids, the Padres.
Yeah, it's just like
cocky. I get it.
You know what's funny? I wouldn't even say he's cocky because I feel like
man, I would because the series against the Dodgers when they didn't even have it won yet, and he's like going back and forth with the Dodgers fans.
You know what? Like, I guess you're right. Like, cocky's you know what it is though. I feel like when he had that, because this is how I look at it. When he had that whole outburst with Machado. Like, to me, like, he was being cocky there, and then when he had, like, the dirt bike injuries, it was like he was, like, almost, like, young. But the thing I gotta give him so much credit, though, is switching positions, man. Like, it's not like he went from short to second base or infield. Like, dude, he completely went to right field.
It was so weird. It was so weird why they chose that.
And he's actually like good.
He didn't have an arm at shortstop, so what made you think he was going to have that arm in the outfield? But it's working.
I know.
He was one of the top outfielders fielding wise last year.
And unless I'm wrong, like I don't recall seeing many stories over the last year or so about him complaining about it. So like,
no, not at all. I mean, also he was in no position to because they were like, okay, you're coming back from your steroid suspension. You either do this or like.
Because you got to remember too, even the situation that happened, it's not just like they had to move, but it's like, all right, how to move? Then they brought in Xander, and you can argue he's better. And then it's like Ha-Seong Kim, obviously for his defense, but like if you're him, you can be like, bro, I just got paid like the best player you've ever given money to him. Though I got paid the most you've ever given in this franchise. Like I should be playing shortstop, but instead he's just like, I'll go to right field. So like I'm not saying he's not cocky, but like, you know. What the problem is that like I feel like my fucking like I'll be honest, my MVPs are exactly the same as last year.
So that's a take. That's
yeah.
A take.
Like I just don't see them being any different. Like at all.
Okay.
Like
so so for MVP you have Judge for the AL, Shohei for the NL, and then for Cy Youngs you have Chris Sale and Skubal.
No, I do have Skubal if he stays healthy. The NL one, I'm just going with my heart. I've been saying it all year, and I can't back down on it now. It's going to be Blake Snell. I just keep
Okay.
saying that all year, but like,
I mean, he's emerged as the ace of the Dodgers rotation, so
because the thing is with Scooble, like I'm actually like I know I'm not high in the Tigers, but the problem is I keep looking at the AL, and I don't necessarily see anybody either not only just rivaling him but staying healthy enough to rival him. Like I
I
guess
got a name for you.
Seattle,
I
anybody
got
in
a name
Seattle
for you.
or Max Fried, who?
Well, actually, oh, you brought up Max Green. I actually forgot about him, but I have Cole Reagans of the Kansas City Royals. I
Okay,
think he gives you everything you want out of Cy Young. High
that's right. You've
strikeouts,
mentioned this before in something.
ERA. But I do like Max Fried as an option just because of how consistent he is. He looks like he's taken this Yankees ace job with stride.
Yep.
It could be any one of them, but I got Cole Reagans. I think
Well,
he's gonna be electric this year.
I actually, you know what's funny? That's actually not a bad pick because I always think of Seth Lugo when I think of the Royals, which I don't think Seth Lugo's going to repeat what he did last year. And it's the same thing with the Seattle guys. I think they're going to be good, but we're already starting to see some injuries now. I think Kirby's still injured. Wu's had
Yeah.
injuries. Like
Yep.
Castillo, I don't think it's going to be. I think Castillo's
Castillo's
getting
on a
older.
decline.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's just getting older, so he's not what he's doing. And then that kind of brings me to two guys that off the tip of my tongue is that I want to say Max Fried, but the problem is not even just his history. I just feel like the Yankees are cursed this year right now, so I just can't see him pulling through.
Juan Soto
And then I would
first.
love to say Walker Bueller, but I just can't see him staying healthy all year. So
And
that
the
kind
one
of
person
brings me
I'm not
back.
saying is Garrett Crochet, man.
I
I
know.
don't get the hype. Like, yes, he was a good pitcher for what he's done, but he has yet to average above 5 innings pitched in one season in his career.
Oh shit, I have a
I
dark horse, by the way.
like I don't think that like Crochet is gonna be a Cy Young, and I don't either he's gonna get hurt for pitching as much as he's expected to be pitching this year because he's never pitched that much before. Or I don't think he's going to rise to the expectation of being the ace of the Boston Red Sox.
No, I know.
That's a lot.
And you haven't seen enough from it. Just a quick dark horse though, but it's the same thing with literally everybody else I just mentioned, but it's like if DeGrom stays healthy.
I mean, shit.
It's,
And
but
I
it's
think he
just-
will. I think he will. I think he'll absolutely stay healthy this year. I think this is the year that Jacob DeGrom like
I
maybe
mean,
gets us to the point where we can talk Hall of Fame.
let's
That's what
just
we've
say
been waiting
this:
for.
if it's 100, I think the minimum. I don't think there is a minimum, like actual vote law, but I think if he
Yeah.
pitches at least 140 innings, he can win the Cy Young.
140
I
innings
know
would be crazy. For us.
150 is like where I feel more
Yeah.
comfortable, but I think if he pushes 140, he can do it.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Fuck it. But for NL Cy Young, I actually got Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I said it on a different
That's a good
podcast
one. I like that.
before. I think with the spotlight on everybody else and how comfortable he's going to be, and with the Dodgers bats behind him, I think they'll be fine. I think Yamamoto, he has a repertoire. He showed us a lot in that second half of the season. I think he's the NL Cy Young.
Not bad. Not bad. I
Like,
like
so
that.
who would you have for NL Cy Young then?
Um,
Because I know you said it's not Chris Sale.
didn't I just say it? Oh my god, why am I blanking all of a sudden? Oh, Blake Snell.
Oh yeah, you said
Yeah.
I'm tripping.
I know,
So
dude. I'm
for
like, I'm
MVP
thinking, I forgot.
So for MVPs, I agree with you on Otani, even though I think Tatis is the dark horse for me when it comes to NL MVP. But for the AL MVP, I got Yordan Alvarez. I think he's going to be fully healthy this whole year, and he's going to hit like 55 bombs. I think he'll sneak the Astros into the wild card, and I think they'll call it a day and give him his MVP.
I like
And
it.
I also got a bunch of his rookie cards that I want to sell for high prices. So
There you go. That works. Make that money. Make that bread.
get that dough. Oh, all right, so let's play some games. So Wolfie, I want you to fill out this immaculate grid. So here's how we're gonna do it. You have your notepad or whatever. I'm gonna give you the top three and then the side three. I'm gonna give you one incorrect answer. So if you get two incorrect answers, you lose. Fuck you, Wolfie. I'm gonna make this hard.
That works.
So on the top three teams, I got Red Sox, Mets, and Nationals.
Okay.
And then for the side, I have Yankees, Cardinals, and 30 plus home run hitters in a season.
Okay.
So my question to you is, do you want to start with any box, or do you just want to go box after box after box in order?
I mean, I could go box. I might want to go actually like just pick a random one, just like 'cause while they're off the
All right,
top
go
of my
for it.
head. The Yankees and Nationals is going to be Luke Voigt.
How do you remember that?
I don't know.
That is
I
that's Nationals
I feel
lore.
like
Like
I'll
to have
never,
that we had a Void is like Nationals fucking lore.
and I feel like I'll never forget Luke Voigt because it's just that 2020 season. He literally led the league in
He,
home
he
runs.
almost robbed the MVP.
Like it's crazy. Like and then he just died after that. To be honest, I also could have picked Joey Gallo for that too. So am I just like filling this all out like just in a row?
Yeah.
Okay. The Yankees and Mets will be Curtis Granderson, who is the new headliner card.
Yes.
You know what's weird? I'm like not too sure about the Cardinals and Nats off the top of my head, and then I feel like there's gonna be one that's just like so obvious. But I'm gonna save that for a little bit. I mean the Red Sox and Yankees. There's a lot of easy ones. I'm trying to think of like a really like abnormal one, not to make it too easy, but I'm probably just gonna wind up going easy, which is just gonna be Roger Clemens. I mean,
Okay, that's the one I was thinking of.
yeah. I mean, I know there's obviously more there. Red
right.
Sox and Cardinals. For some reason, I'm like drawing a blank on a lot of like Cardinals players recently. Because the problem with a lot of Cardinals players is they fucking stay there for so long. Well, for the Mets and Cardinals, I'm going to do Isringhausen. Just get that out of the way. Jason
Okay.
Isringhausen. And then... And what was that 30 plus home runs?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the Mets 30 plus home runs, I'm going to do Pete Alonso.
Okay.
For the Red Sox 30 plus home runs, I will go... Is there any like recent fun ones? I'm trying to think of like any like really abnormal Red Sox like. Oh, I got one, but I don't think he hit 30 plus. I'm gonna say the safe answer is David Ortiz.
Okay.
But if you could check, is Steve Pearce? Did he ever hit 30 home runs for them?
Ooh. He was only there for like.
I know he did good in the postseason for them, so I don't think he hit 30 for them. But I don't know why his name popped.
No, he didn't even come close. So he did So he played a half a year. The year that they won the World Series, he was in a trade acquisition, and then the next year he hit one home run, and then he retired.
Oh, okay. All right.
One- if you would have guessed him, that would have been crazy.
Yeah, there's no way. The Nationals 30 plus home runs. See, I have some guys that come to mind, but it's weird because with the Nationals 30 plus home runs, like I feel like the safe bet it's got to be Anthony Rendon hit 30 plus, right? Or at least 30.
Is that the guy you're going with?
Yeah, I'll go with him.
Anthony Rendon.
He had to
Did.
do it. Yeah, he
His
had
la-
2019.
The last season
right?
he was ever relevant.
Yeah, it's the only one I could think of that like 100% did it that year.
Bryce Harper?
Yeah, but no, did Ryan Zimmerman ever do it?
Yeah, he had to have.
That's what I'm thinking. Like he was obviously another assured. It's weird though because like 30s, like I could see them hitting 30, but it's like 32, maybe like 1 or 2 seasons. But I know.
Yeah, Ryan Zimmerman had 2 seasons.
All right,
including 2017.
This is where it gets interesting, because I am blanking on Cardinals names right now for some reason. Like I can't even think of like Cardinals like recently.
I'm blanking on a Cardinals Red Sox player, but I would have get good guesses for the Mets and Nats. Get off your phone, Wolf.
No, it's my paper. I'm just trying to I'm just like staring into the blank to try to think of like.
Oh, I do have one for the Red Sox and Cardinals.
Yo, I do have one for the Red Sox. Tyler O'Neill. He played for the Cardinals and the Red Sox.
Yeah. He came up as a Cardinal, I believe.
Yes.
For that one, I had John Lackey.
You know what's funny? I was thinking John Lackey or who's the other guy? Lester. I was getting them mixed up, and I couldn't remember exactly which
I
one
mean,
did it.
Lester would also be a correct answer there.
He would. Okay, so all right, then that was my other guess. Then, this is the one that's a little hard. Fun fact, since I don't want to use him twice, did Luke Voigt ever play for Cardinals too? I think he did, right?
Oh, I put Luka Voigt. Hold on.
Luke Voigt.
Yeah, he played. He came up as a Cardinal, but he did not play as a Red Sox or Met.
No, but he was a Met. No, he was a Met. Luke Voigt.
On a minor league deal?
He had to be, at least. I know we had him, I think, last year or the year before.
Oh, yeah. AAA 2023. Damn, he's in the Mexican leagues. Yikes.
You know what's mad weird? I have the most random name popping in my head right now, but for some reason... You know what the problem is? What's really throwing me off about this question is I'm thinking of Red, and I keep seeing, like, the Nationals and Cardinals Red, and it's, like, it's mixing me up, like, who's who. This is probably going to be the one I'm going to get wrong, actually.
Well, I'm not going to lie. To give you a hint, you've already named someone that could fall into the Nationals-Cardinals territory. So
Wonderful. Was Gio Gonzalez? I think he played for the Cardinals.
is this your guess?
Yeah, I'm going to guess with that.
I believe you're wrong, but let me find this out.
Because my other answer was Sean Doolittle, but I think it was Arizona that he played for.
Yeah, no, you are incorrect. That is your first and only wrong answer.
Yeah, that was it. I couldn't think of one off the top of my head.
There's a lot of good names you could say for the Cardinals and Mets.
Oh, did Paul DeJong play for the Nationals?
I mean, he's a national currently, so
yeah, hell yeah, that's my answer then.
That's my answer. I had John Lester for that one.
Really? Did Jason Mott ever play for the Nationals?
He was traded from the Nationals to the Cardinals.
Did Jason Mott ever play for the Nationals? Do you know?
Jason who?
Jason Mott.
I want to say no. No, he didn't.
No, he did not. Damn.
All right, so Cardinals Mets, and you either win the game or lose the game with this next guess.
Oh, I got it. It was Jason Isringhausen.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I said it like.
Oh shit! So you won.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Oh,
okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wait, no, didn't I not get the Nationals one and Cardinals one though?
You said Paul DeJong.
Oh yeah, that's right. Duh. I was thinking Gio Gonzalez. Okay, cool. Yay.
All right, Wolfie did it.
Did Lance Lynn ever play for the Nationals?
Nah.
Fuck, man.
And by the way, for the Mets and Cardinals, I had Carlos Beltran.
That's actually a good one.
Yeah.
I gotta see some recent names just to jog my memory, like, quick, just because, like, I feel like there's gotta be more than what I just thought of.
All right, so do you have a would you rather for me?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. So I put Wolfie on the spot. He got absolutely roasted by the viewers, as I predicted he would, for picking Jeter and Ichiro over some crazy other people. And then most surprisingly, you got roasted for picking Hank Aaron over Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be the one. Everybody loves Barry Bonds. It's like, you know what?
But I don't know. I think that's at least reasonable. It's more reasonable than the fucking some of the, like, you had Jeter over A-Rod. That almost like had me explode.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I got to stick with Jeter. By the way, I was just quick looking at Nationals and Cardinals players, and dude, there's actually not that many recognizable names.
Yeah.
Like Trevor Rosenthal, I guess, John Lester, like Edwin Jackson, like.
Hey, Edwin Jackson.
Eric Fedde. Like, dude, I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like Edwin Jackson is like a common Immaculate Grid person because he's played for 13 teams.
Yeah. Larry Walker. Dude, I'll be honest, there's a lot of names on here that, like, there's really not many
Larry Walker
recognizable.
played for the Expos.
Yeah, like Mark Reynolds, dude. Not many recognizable names
Oh,
on this
Mark, I
whole
love Mark
list.
Reynolds.
Um, so now, would you rather? We're just doing like the same thing as last time with the players, right?
Yeah. Or
Okay.
you can basically you can do one player and compare them to multiple players, or you can just do what I did and start with two and just keep coming up with names until we get to the end. It's up to you how you want to play it.
Okay, because I was actually gonna do not players, but I guess I will do players.
What do you mean?
I was actually just gonna do would you rather teams,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's just because I want to see who your favorite kind of team is. Okay. If you're on board, then all right, Seattle or Arizona.
So is this like who's going to be better this year, or
No, just like who do you like more?
um? I'm gonna do who do I like more this year though. I think that would be
Yeah,
like
that
the
works then. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
I mean, I got Arizona, of course. Seattle. Seattle. They're wasting like the biggest opportunity they've ever had. I think when it comes to the Mariners, this is a bigger opportunity than when they had Griffey and A-Rod and Ichiro, and I don't know if they had them all together, but you know what I mean. Back when they had Randy Johnson and shit like that.
You know what? Let's actually change this because I can't do it like this because I already know the answers from the standings. So let's just do it by their starting rotation. So D
Okay.
backs or Seattle or D backs starting rotation.
Damn, that's a hard question to get right off the beginning because I like Corbin Burns and Gallen. Mariners are coming in a little injured. As much as those Mariners are good, I don't believe in Brian Wu yet, and I think Castillo's I'm going with the Arizona Diamondbacks starting rotation.
All right, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Um, Arizona or Detroit.
As much as I just hyped the Detroit Tigers earlier in this episode, I think I got to go with the Diamondbacks. Like Corbin Burns, Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, though, like a bunch of proven guys. Brandon Fat, Ed Rodriguez looks like he's gonna have be able to contribute something. I like the Diamondbacks. This is weird.
Okay. Now Diamondbacks or Braves.
Braves have Cy Young, Chris Sale,
Let's say
Reynaldo
Spencer
Lopez.
Strider is healthy too.
Oh, if Spencer Strider is healthy,
Are you
I got
sure?
the Braves.
Positive.
Yeah,
Even with the back
because
end.
I'm a big believer in Schwallenbach, and I think it's Smith Schuyer, however you pronounce
Mm-hmm.
AJ's last name there. But with those two, Chris Sale, Reynaldo Lopez, and then you're throwing in Spencer Strider, yeah, I would take them.
Okay, so then Braves or healthy Dodgers rotation.
Dodgers,
Are you
because it's like
sure?
I said, like yeah, bro, because they got you said healthy, so we're talking about Shohei on top of that. We're talking about all the guys that
Oh
are
yeah, I
injured.
wasn't really considering
Like
Shohei, but yeah, I guess you're right, Shohei. I wasn't really. I was thinking
I
like,
don't
all right,
think
if you took like Snell, Glasnow, and Yamamoto versus Spencer Strider, Chris Sale, and I don't know Lopez or Schwellenbach. That I don't know. That's like damn close.
I got the Dodgers, bro.
Hmm.
Because like we're talking about like not only like someone for Blake Snell, he gets to actually pitch with confidence, and this is like the first time that he's going to be able to do so. Because when he was on the Rays, like he was grinding out some games there. Like it was like tight most of the way through. Same thing with the Giants. Same thing with the Padres. I think Blake Snell for the first time in his career is going to get to pitch with the best lineup behind him, and I think it's going to speak volumes to who he is as an actual pitcher. Like your Cy Young prediction for him is great. I'm big on Yamamoto. You already like I like Sasaki. Glass now he's got to stay healthy, but I mean, with the Braves, you wonder the same thing. They got to stay healthy too. So in the midst of all that, I got the Dodgers.
So in other words, you're hmm. So then the Dodgers would be peak for you, which really means is interesting is that you had Seattle, D-backs, Braves, Dodgers as your top four. That's pretty much probably how it would wind up being health wise. But it's
Yeah.
interesting because out of
I
that
mean, I
you,
don't think I would put would I put another rotation over the Dodgers?
I mean, because you didn't take Detroit,
Yeah, no, I don't think I would.
which is my
I mean,
point. Is pretty interesting because
if
y-
Garrett Cole was healthy, I might have said the Yankees if him and Gill and Clark Schmidt were healthy, but they're not.
yeah, and even then,
So
but the problem is that or not even the problem. What I find interesting about that is that you would think like, oh, I just named the top four rotations. That's got to be the top like four, top like say top 10 best teams in baseball. And out
Mhm.
of those top four, only one of them won the division for you. One of them was in dead last place, and the other one was in third place. So I guess that proves that like you can have the best pitching, but that doesn't mean anything if you can't hit.
So real quick, yeah, this year.
I that's what I.
Wow, we agree. Yeah.
The playoffs could make noise, but I think the Houston Astros, if they get to the playoffs, do not count them out. So I
Yeah,
do have Texas versus Dodgers right now, but I think that could change real fast in the AL.
that's
I
fair,
don't think
man.
the Dodgers are getting dethroned in the NL though.
Yeah, no, I don't. It would be a big shock if
Yeah,
they are.
no.
So let's end this episode with something fun. We're gonna do smash or pass. Ballpark food.
Oh damn,
Yes. Glizzies. Big smash.
big smash! Oh, big smash! I can do nine in a game.
Yo, I'm gonna spend the extra money to fucking double fist two glizzies at Nationals Park Saturday.
Oh,
I don't give a
perfect.
fuck.
Also, yo, shout out Mets. They're bringing back $5 Tuesdays, so $5 hot dogs on
Are
Tuesdays
you
at
saying we're about to
Seafield.
go to Mets to
Oh
the
yeah,
Mets Stadium on a Tuesday?
$5 beers, $5 waters, $5 hot dogs
Oh my
on
god,
on every
999?
Tuesday.
No, I'm
Yeah,
just
dude. Well, I was gonna say it would
Ah.
actually not even be as bad when you think about it. I mean, it's still forty
We
five
could do the
bucks.
999 this year. Baseball's back.
Yeah, and it would be 45 for the beer, which really isn't that bad considering what it could be. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's not cheap, but like compared to
It's
what it could be,
doable. That's $90 for the whole game. So
yeah,
I mean,
that's not
hey.
terrible.
All right, Philly cheesesteak. Smash.
Oh my god, smash! That's probably like a
Maybe not.
top.
I mean, I don't. So the only reason I would say no to this is if like watching the game, like I don't know, because like I had a cheesesteak and it was messy and like I don't know, but I'm smashing a cheesesteak regardless, no matter
Yeah,
where I am.
if
I could
it.
be butt naked taking a shit and I could be eating a cheesesteak, bro.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I will eat one on the toilet. Like it's, dude, it's so good. Like you're right. It's such a messy ballpark food, but it's one of those messy ballpark foods that the food tastes too good for me to care. If it's
Yeah.
like any other really like wings or something, all right, I love wings, but that's too messy in a
Yeah.
bowl game. A Philly cheesesteak though, I'll deal with the mess.
All right, popcorn.
I'm not a big ballpark popcorn guy. Like I do like the
I mean,
saltiness with the
I think.
beer.
Listen, this might be an underrated opinion. I think popcorn is past its prime, and I think it's getting ready to retire, man. I'm over popcorn.
Yep.
I'm gonna go pass. I don't think I can do popcorn at the ballpark.
And you know what's the problem too is that it all depends the type of popcorn you get. Now, let me just throw this out here. I got to give some props to MSG. I went there for a Knicks game a couple years ago, and they give you fresh popcorn in a cardboard box, like a sealed cardboard box, and it was almost like a cereal looking box, and it was so fresh and so delicious. But I've had ballpark popcorn recently, and it's like that stale kind you get in like a plastic bag,
Yeah,
and it's
no,
just
that's like
like,
something like if you go to the ballpark broke and you're like trying to
yeah,
eat something,
dude, if they
you
had
have
like movie theater popcorn, like stands, that would sell great, but like they ain't doing that. So I gotta say pass.
yeah. I judge people that got popcorn at baseball, but
I know.
pretzels, pretzels.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a pretzel. I'll be honest, the older
Like,
I've
no.
gotten,
It's not. Can you go wrong? It's smash or pass, Wolf.
yeah, I gotta smash a pretzel. You can't go wrong
Yeah,
with a
and I
pretzel.
would like a
Yeah.
nice salty pretzel with some nice hot cheese.
Yeah, yeah. I was, you
Fuck
know what it
yeah.
was? Because my argument was it might not be my first go to, but it's a classic where you can't go wrong with it. Like
Yeah.
it's not like popcorn where it's like I could pass that up. I ain't passing a pretzel if someone hands me that.
Okay. Beer.
It's dude. It all depends on the situation. If I'm driving, I can't. But if I'm not driving, I will at least get one beer at a game. So I will
Me, I
pass
don't.
or I'll
I'm gonna have.
smash.
I'm gonna have to pass on beer, man. Just because, like, at the ballpark, it's hot and sweaty. You're trying to watch your team. If you get frustrated now, it's a frustration beer. Um,
I
you know
like that.
what I mean?
That's a good point. You know what it is too. You are right about like if we're talking if you that's why you said beer. So I said yes. If you said beers with an S, I probably would have said pass.
The people that get drunk at a baseball stadium, I question, man.
Yeah, dude, I completely agree.
Water, water,
Oh yeah, I get water like
yeah,
every single
right.
game. Yes, it's
Not the
completely.
just not the expensive bottled water that they be selling though. You got
Nah,
to sneak your own water in.
sneak your own water. Plus, they got clean refill fountains now. Like we're all good. Smash or yeah, smash water for sure.
Smash peanuts.
Yeah, I'm actually a big peanut guy. The ball games.
What?
Yeah, you know what's funny is I don't every game, but I do like it because the first time I ever had the peanuts in the shell was at a ball game, so I just always attribute the two. Plus, like I said that with like a saltiness with the beer. It's the same thing with the pretzel. The same thing with the
I just
popcorn. But
when
I
it comes to peanuts, I'm a pass, man. I don't understand the lore. I think they're very like
the
may-
lore,
maybe it's
the
I don't want to
aura.
say they're overrated because I'll be honest, I haven't really ate peanuts in my career here in my 26-year career. Um,
I got a bag of them right here.
Wolfie just got a bag of
You know
peanuts.
what's crazy? It's so weird that you brought it up. I literally randomly bought one like a week ago because it was on sale, and I'm like, I haven't had these since a ball game, and I just bought a fucking bag for
All right,
$7.
bubble gum
Nah, I'm not a big bubblegum at a ball game.
pass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pass.
seeds like sunflower
I
seeds.
know, and I'm gonna have to say pass. Watching a ball game, playing a ball game. Hell yeah, I can't do it in
Smash.
the stands.
Smash in like 50 different positions.
And I actually, funny thing is, I got seeds right here too. So
What
I
do you
like
got
my
random bags?
seeds.
What else do you got under there?
I know, like I got some. No, I ain't got anything. But no, I like sunflower seeds. It's just I can't do it in the stands because I need to like spit it somewhere. But like I don't know. I just that's the only
All
thing
right,
I can't
last
do in the
one.
stands.
Last one. Chicken tendies at the ballpark.
Smash every day of the week that ends in Y. Oh my god.
Chicken,
That's like my go-to.
chicken.
My go-to number one. Like, dude, don't get me wrong. Shake Shack burgers are great. Dogs are
Bro, if
great. I'm getting
everyone in
tendies
the
and
world would
fries.
just sit down and eat chicken tendies at the same time, the world would be such a better place.
Bro, I literally could eat that every single day.
Bro, I could have
Every
tendies
meal.
for breakfast,
I
chicken tendies
know, dude. I
for
know. Like,
dinner.
I will never be too. We need to get into the habit of like making adults eat that again. Cause like I feel like when you go to like a restaurant, like they gotta name it something else. We gotta have like adult chicken tenders, like a name, like adult like chicken fillet, breaded fillet, or something like something. We need to name it different because we need to get adults back onto the chicken tender grind.
I mean, honestly, more chicken tendies for us, brother.
I feel like our generation, the older we get, the more adults are like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm smashing
Oh
that.
fuck yeah, we're the good adults.
Yeah, we're the
But man, with that
pioneers.
being said, we hope you guys enjoy the season opening day. I'm gonna try to get this out on opening day. If not, it'll be the day after. Either which way, make sure you guys like, subscribe, leave some feedback. Wolfie and I are gonna be here all season long. We have a big guest coming at you in a couple weeks. We're gonna try to do weekly episodes, but it might end up still being every other week, just to save time and all that good stuff. But like I said, make sure you guys get on the train. We got a lot of good content. You guys are starting to view our content. Our overseas following is starting to get big. It's a good time to get on the train, so do so. And that's all I really got.